On September 28, 2018, a shallow earthquake occurred near the neck of the Minahasa Peninsula in Indonesia. Earthquakes that occur in the ocean typically precede tsunamis, and unfortunately, that was the case this day. After the main shock was felt, a tsunami alert was issued for the Makassar Strait. It wasn't long until a localized tsunami hit the city of Palu, destroying all shore-lying buildings in its wake. The video shows the beginning of the destruction. Water has already begun to flow into the streets, taking cars and debris with it. Initially, it almost looks like the water is retreating back into the ocean, a common occurrence with tsunamis. Right when everything seems calm, you can see waves rushing back into the city, followed by the screams of locals warning people of what is about to come. The camera person remains at a high vantage point to capture the waves breaking deeper and deeper into the city. Later, a report found that the initial earthquake created major soil liquefaction in areas around Palu. This resulted in mud flows that caused numerous buildings to become submerged immediately from the tsunami. Soil liquefaction is incredibly rare, and many reports indicate that this instance of it was the largest that ever took place in the world. The destruction from this tsunami was unprecedented. The combined impact of both the earthquake and the tsunami resulted in 4,340 people losing their lives. Over 200,000 people became refugees as a result of the destruction, with numerous organizations and countries coming together to donate aid to the relief efforts. It was a horrific event the country is still trying to recover from. One of the deadliest and most destructive natural events in recent memory took place on March 11, 2011. A magnitude 9.0 earthquake occurred right off the coast of Japan, with the epicenter being centralized about 43 miles east of the Oshika Peninsula. Tragically, the earthquake was just a harbinger of what was to come, as a tsunami soon overtook the region. To make matters worse, this happened to be the most powerful earthquake to ever be recorded in Japan. It was also the fourth most powerful earthquake to have happened in the entire world since record-keeping first began in 1900. Tsunami waves were sent barreling toward the shores, some of which reached heights exceeding 130 feet. This video gives you an idea of how quickly the water levels rise. Within just 5 minutes, water has already reached the top of the barrier. Even long after it overflows, it doesn't stop rising. One video shows just how far inland the tsunami reached. You can barely see the shoreline in the distance, with the waves taking everything they possibly can. There are even a few people on top of a parking structure that is thankfully just out of reach of the waves. Of course, the video doesn't really do the full scope of the tsunami justice. The event was so massive that it moved Honshu, the main island of Japan, approximately 8 feet to the east. Thousands of people lost their lives, with even more suffering injuries and going missing. It ended up becoming the most expensive natural disaster in history, with the estimated insured losses being somewhere between 14.5 and $34.6 billion. On December 26, 2004, a rupture occurred along the fault between the Indian Plate and the Burma Plate. The following earthquake registered a magnitude of 9.1, one of the largest earthquakes ever recorded in the world. It also had the longest duration of faulting scientists have ever been able to observe. While many earthquakes last under a minute, this one went on for between 8 and 10 minutes. But when there is an earthquake in the ocean, there's bound to be a tsunami. A series of huge tsunami waves, some reaching 100 feet in height, headed for various communities along the Indian Ocean shoreline. The tsunamis that followed killed an estimated 227,000 people across 14 countries. It remains one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history. You can see the devastation through this video footage, which sees a massive wave striking a village near the shore, and people run for their lives to avoid getting caught in the tsunami. Millions of people's way of life was impacted from the tsunami. It slowed down commerce in numerous countries such as Thailand, Indonesia, and a dozen others. The largest number of victims was reported in the Indonesian city of Banda Aceh. The event garnered a global response, with donations from around the globe totaling more than $14 billion. Many areas have still not recovered. The day after Christmas in 2004 was a stark reminder of the sheer power of nature. The largest earthquake in all of 2009 took place on September 29th. Unfortunately for the people of Samoa, this earthquake happened to occur adjacent to the Kermadec-Tonga subduction zone. It had a magnitude of 8.1, and it generated a substantial amount of damage to the surrounding area. Shortly after the earthquake occurred, a series of 4 waves measuring 15 to 20 feet in height struck the island. Numerous cars were left in the mud, while an entire beach village was wiped out. The video shows just how far inland the tsunami waves were able to reach, with dirty water coming dangerously close to numerous homes in the background. In total, reports indicate that 20 villages were destroyed, including Lepa, which is the home of Samoa's prime minister. Surprisingly, in Lepa, the only structures that were left standing was the church and the village's welcome sign. When all was said and done, a total of 189 fatalities were reported, with hundreds of other people sustaining injuries. To commemorate those lost from the tsunami, a memorial was erected in Christchurch. The memorial went up on February 25, 2012, and it's referred to as the Healing Garden. It's a place for individuals to gather and remember those we've lost. It's not every day you find decades-old footage of tsunamis. Most of the ones you come across on YouTube are in full color, and you probably remember hearing news stories of the tsunamis right when they occurred. However, not many people may be as familiar with the 1952 tsunami that struck the Kuril Islands. On November 4th, 1952, an earthquake with a magnitude of 9.0 was triggered off the coast of the Kamchatka Peninsula, a structure located in Russia. The earthquake happened at roughly 5 a.m. local time, and the ensuing tremors led to a great deal of destruction in many of the settlements in Kamchatka Oblast and Sakhalin Oblast. However, the area that was most affected was the town of Severokurilsk. It remains the most powerful earthquake ever in Russian history. As to be expected, such a massive earthquake occurring off of a major coastline triggered a tsunami in the Pacific Ocean. 3 waves hit the region, each one measuring between 49 and 59 feet in height. Just take a look at the black and white footage taken of the scene. It almost looks like something out of an old-timey movie, but this tsunami was not to be taken lightly. If you look closely at the footage, you can even see a person running across a bridge to try to escape from the ensuing waves. After the earthquake, many of the people living in Severokurilsk fled to nearby hills. It was a smart decision, as the first wave wiped out numerous houses located on lower ground. Unfortunately, many people returned to the town after the first wave hit. They were completely unprepared for the imminent second wave that took many people's lives. While the third wave was not as big as the other two, the damage was already done. According to sources at the time, 6,000 people lived in this village before the earthquake and tsunami hit. In just one day, 2,336 of those people lost their lives. The survivors had to be taken further inland into Russia. The settlement affected had to be abandoned, but it was later rebuilt in a new location. If this video proves anything, it's that tsunamis are easily one of the most terrifying forces of nature. Be sure to click the link on screen to check out 10 powerful earthquakes that were caught on camera. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.